everyone, what is going on, and welcome back to the channel here. This is Josh with Best Time Watch Repair. Welcome back for another video here. Today we've got a very special video for you guys. In today's video, we're going to be replacing the battery on a Rolex OYSTERQUARTZ watch. Now, these watches were extremely rare back in those days. Back in the 70s and 80s, right around those time periods when these were made, there was only about 2,000 of these watches made. So these are truly special pieces. This piece right here is in a two-tone 18 karat gold stainless steel combination. Just a beautiful timepiece overall. This is a customer's timepiece. So we're going to be jumping in and replacing the battery on this timepiece here. I'm going to be showing you guys what that process is like. If you guys want to see more videos like this, hit that like, subscribe, and comment down below about what you guys think about the video. And let's get right into this one. Switching over to the microscope camera, we can see that the case does say 17013. It still has the original green sticker on the back of the case back. The customer still has not removed that after all of these years. Obviously a truly cherished piece. So we do have the case back loosened, and once we take a look at the inside, it is absolutely stunning. It is a beautiful Rolex 5035 movement. Quite a few adjustments have been done to this movement. We've got 11 jewels on this one here. Just a beautiful, beautiful quartz movement, especially back from those days. It is just a beautiful piece. Truly a breathtaking movement, honestly. As far as what I know, I believe they only made right around approximately 20,000 of these pieces, so these pieces are extremely rare. So moving on and grabbing our tweezers here, we can see that the battery connection bridle is actually held in place with two screws, and it actually shows the battery orientation itself too, as well as the battery voltage on there as well. So we've got two screws. We're going to start off with the bottom one on the southern part of the screen. That's going to be the one that we remove first, and we're going to swivel the bridle out of its position and remove the battery. Good chances we're going to have to remove that connection spring itself, or that connection piece itself, so that way we can remove the battery a little bit easier, because these are a little tricky to remove with that piece still in place. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our tool here, and we're going to put a little bit of pressure right there on that edge of that spring, because as you release that screw, it will want to force the battery connection spring upwards, and that definitely is not good for that screw. If that goes flying, obviously that screw is gone. Any sort of major mishandling of these screws can easily cause these screws to just ping off into nowhere. These things will disappear, and once that happens, that screw is gone pretty much. Like I said, what we're going to do here is going to be extremely careful. We're going to hold pressure down on that spring with one tool, and we're going to carefully use our tweezers to try to get that screw out of there. It can be a little finicky because of how far the screw goes down into the plate there. But once we get that screw out of that spot there, then we're free to actually relieve the tension from the other side of the spring with the other screw. So here you can see the screw. It is a rather long screw. It's definitely deep into the plate, which definitely makes it a little bit more difficult to get this screw out, of course. But once you get it out, you're good to go for that side. Once we have the appropriate size screwdriver, then we'll go back in and we'll loosen up the second screw on the northern part of the screen just a little bit here. Once that is completed, we can effectively move the spring over. It kind of swivels over to the side, and then that'll give us access to the battery as well as the battery insulator itself, which almost looks like a circuit board. It's rather interesting. The next step here that you can see me doing here is removing that battery insulator itself. And here's the underside of that insulator, and you can see that it does have a particular shape to it. And you guys will see later in the video that that is a very, very interesting process, getting that back into its correct spot. It is definitely not the easiest thing in the world, and that is what makes this one of the most difficult battery changes that I have come across. They definitely do not usually get this difficult, so this thing is definitely one of the more difficult but beautiful battery changes that I've ever done. Now what I'm doing here is I'm basically taking some sort of substance that is very similar to Rodico, and I'm trying to basically extract the battery using that, so that way I don't have to pry at it or come at it with any sort of tools or anything like that. The less that you interact with these movements with tools, the better, as that definitely reduces the chance of damage and any sort of scratching. This movement itself does already have a scratch on the plates, and that obviously was not caused by me here, but that was obviously caused from probably a previous battery change if I had to guess. So now what we're going to do is we're going to remove the second screw, so that way we can completely remove this battery connection spring itself, so that way it'll make the battery a lot easier to come out. Okay, and here we can see the same technique, of course, got the battery out very effortlessly, so that definitely is a lot easier with that battery connection spring completely removed. Unfortunately, it is an additional step that definitely makes it a little bit trickier for this battery replacement, but it's obviously a very necessary step. Of course, we use Swiss Renata batteries here in the shop, so I'm going to replace it with another Swiss Renata battery. I did the battery replacement on this watch some time ago, I think over 2+ years ago. I think it's been some time, but these batteries usually do last 5 to 10 years. It does vary a little bit depending on the movement. These higher caliper and higher grade Swiss movements are really truly exceptional, and usually they did make the batteries last quite some time. And here we have a brand new Renata 357 battery cell ready to go into this beautiful Rolex Oyster Quartz. What I will do now is I will let the music play on a little bit, and you guys can watch on as I try to get this piece back together, get everything back going, and get this watch running. So enjoy and listen to the music, and I'll check back with you guys here in just a few minutes. It is quite a bit tricky to get the screw into the plate as well as into the battery connector itself and get everything all kind of lined up so that way you can screw that screw in. Once that screw is in place and I get it screwed in just a little bit there, then I can focus my attention on the battery insulator part. And the tab on the battery insulator actually has to line up and actually be inserted into the battery connection spring. And it is a bit tricky to do that. There is a couple different ways to do that. Here I show one way. Another way is to turn the battery connection spring over and actually insert that tab into it and kind of hold two pieces as one piece. And when you flip it over, you should be able to install it without it actually kind of falling apart, but it is still a little tricky that way as well. Of course, as I had mentioned, it is definitely a rather fiddly piece to deal with, that's for sure. And there we go, finally a success. We finally got that battery insulator tab into its proper home right inside of the northern part of the battery insulator spring. Once it is in that position, all we have to do is kind of hold everything together and carefully insert the southern screw, and then we should be good to go to screw everything together, and you will see the movement finally come to life. Here we can see some motion for the pallet fork, if you guys can notice that, as I'm slowly but surely getting this together. Life is slowly but surely coming back. And here we now have the final screw in place, and now I'm going to screw it in, and that will complete this project. And then what we'll do is we'll tidy everything up, screw the case back on, do our final checks, and that'll be it. And as I mentioned, with both screws in place, we've finally completed this project, and we've got a successfully running, beautiful Rolex 5035 oyster quartz movement. You can see, like I said, the pallet fork moving back and forth. It is just a very, very beautiful movement. I really could watch this movement all day long just because of how beautiful it is and the amazing complexities that are inside of this movement that most people don't get to see. Most quartz movements certainly aren't this complicated, and a lot of them aren't even close to being this beautiful. So this is truly a gorgeous timepiece. I really appreciate you guys watching along as I replace the battery in this beautiful Rolex Oyster Quartz. I really appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end here. If you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a thumbs up, like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what your favorite Rolex model is down in the comment section below, as well as let me know what you guys thought about the video. I really want any sort of comments or suggestions here so that way I can help improve the channel for you guys overall. Also, be sure to check out our online watch store for all new and pre-owned timepieces. We're trying to stock as much stuff there as we can. The website for that is www.besttimewatchstore.com. And as I mentioned, I really appreciate you guys watching. Hit that like, subscribe, and comment down below, and we'll see you in the next video. As always, this is Josh with Best Time Watch Repair, and I'm out.